Good morning. Welcome to Shift Now for October 24th to October 26th, 2022. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Arlene Grace, and I'm a spiritual coach. I am a conscious channel, a numerologist, and an alchemist. And it's interesting to say the word alchemist, alchemy. An alchemist, for some believe in the folk tale that an alchemist is one that shifts lead or turns lead into gold. But an alchemist is one that really turns on the light within self and others. And what I mean by turning on the light within self and others is shifting our own consciousness and our own perception of ourselves. It's shifting the frequency within ourselves to see that we are more than what we see, more than just this body, more than our thoughts, more than our emotions. In fact, we aren't necessarily connected to them. They are simply feedback. It's just information that we're receiving, that we don't necessarily identify with that in fact we are this essence, this energy that flows through, that is limitless. And this energy that flows through animates this form, this body, and creates our reality. And so an alchemist allows for the space to turn on that light, to imagine that we have 13 million 9-volt batteries in our body. We have the capacity of that much energy to flow through our body. Now imagine 13 million or billion, regardless, million is a lot, right? 13 million 9-volt batteries of energy, the capacity to move through this body, right? And so as I feel into the energy for this week, there are some themes that are coming up, and it's this energy of you're about to have an upgrade, whether you like it or not. And so will you be in resistance to it? Good morning, Shelley. How are you? And so in this energy of, are you going to shift this week because it's going to happen for you? Are you going to stay in resistance with that? Now, this entire week, it's interesting, and we've had this entire month. There's been this underlying thread, this underlying energy of maybe being disinterested in life, feeling a disinterest in what it is that you're doing, feeling a disinterest in changing in your relationships. There may be a lethargy that's coming around, but there's also this invitation with this disinterest to really invite you to feel into, well, what's actually being inspired? What is it that I actually want to experience in my life? What do I want? And there's also, because of this underlying energy of disinterest, there's also passivity, which is, I'm not necessarily taking any actions, because the key there is to feel into, well, what's being inspired, right? And so this week we have an eclipse, and our eclipse is going to be on Tuesday. Right? And this eclipse is going to be in Scorpio. Now, I don't know very much about, I don't study the astrology, and yet I have experienced the eclipse energy. And the eclipse energy is, I love it because it is that quick shift. You can experience people coming in and out of your life. You can experience news coming. You can experience changes happening, and they are happening right before your eyes, right? And so as I was feeling in, it's going to be quick changes. There could be changes in relationships. There could be decisions that you are wanting to make that are outside of your norm. There could be changes in your business. It could be it can be, well, this is really what the invitation is how you show up in the world. And there's a lot of surprise energy that's happening. It's like, oh, here's some information. Here's some more information. Oh, you want to break up? Oh, you want to give me money? Oh, you want to take away money? Like, there's just all of this information that's going to be moving through for you this week in order for you to decide, what do I want? And so as we come into today's energy, we've got the 4 and Jack of Hearts. And I love today's energy. One, it's my friend's birthday. Happy birthday, Shan. You're probably not watching, may not watch this, but I just want to greet you. Happy birthday. And in this energy of the Jack of Hearts, it's coming into unification with the whole. Are you willing to accept, to hold, and to love all of you? the parts of you that you resist, the parts of you that you are afraid of, understanding the energy of power, to know that you are this beautiful, powerful, magnificent, extraordinary, limitless being. Can you accept all of that? Can you receive that you are more than what you see, that you are more than your body, your emotions, your thoughts, your beliefs, that you are here to live a life, that you are here living this life now, that you have the deep honor of being here in this body, on this planet, to experience life? And are you holding yourself back from it? And so my curiosity comes to this place of, are you making decisions based on lack? Oh, I don't have enough money, and so I got to take this job. Or, oh, I just really want to experience love so much that I'm going to stay with this partner that isn't great, or I'm going to accept a partner that isn't a match to what it is that I desire. Because in this energy today, there's this upgrade in your own thinking. Are you willing to upgrade your own thinking? Are you willing to decide that you can actually have more? That if you were living a life here and you decide to live this life here now, well, what would you be deciding? What is it that you would want to be experiencing? And are you willing to go even bigger than that? Because in this, there's this shift in how you feel about yourself. It's turning on that light within you, so that you are willing to accept and see the wholeness of all of you, all of the experiences that you've had, all of the love that you've ever had, that you've ever wanted, that you've ever desired, all of the wealth, all of those things brought you to where you are here now. And will you upgrade it? Right? Will you upgrade it in your own willingness to see that there's more available? It feels like hitting your own upper limit, right? And I love that, because someone in the community had asked the question of, well, what's an upper limit? An upper limit is something that we are willing to receive through frequency and in our own life. And so many of us have different upper and lower limits. One person can have an upper limit of living on the streets, that they can't see that they have more available to them than what they have here now. And another person's upper limit can be receiving more than $10,000 a month, right, through their business or through any other way. And so it is a perception. Are you willing to perceive that you have more available to you and open up that lens? And your action today is really to come into connection, not only with the divinity of you, with the wholeness of you, but having that mirrored out with others, right? How am I showing up with others? As I was feeling into today's energy, it was interesting because the play Cyrano de Bergerac came up into my mind, and I haven't seen the play, nor have I watched the movie. And I think the movie is called Roxanne. I'm not too sure, but it's Cyrano de Bergerac. I had to look up is this gentleman that is in love with his cousin, and his cousin Roxanne, this is back in 1826, right, when this play was written. And so he's in love with his cousin Roxanne, but he feels lack because he has a big nose. Now there's this other character that's also Christian, in love with Roxanne. And so Cyrano decides to help Christian by speaking for him. And so I have seen little parts in some movie where he's underneath the windowsill, hidden away in the bushes, and he's sharing these beautiful lyrics to this woman that he loves on behalf of someone else. And can you imagine the mask, the deceit that he's having for his own self, the decision that, oh, well, I can't have her, but I can have her. Like, can you see the distortion in that? I can't have her wholly, but I can have her love in this way. Well, what if you could just have the love? What if you could just have all of it? And are you willing to decide that you are good enough, that you're more than good enough, that you're willing to be the fullest expression, wholly, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually expressed in all of the spaces that you are in? Because it certainly feels like today the theme is, okay, the masks are coming off. The masks are coming off, and are you willing to allow them to just fall away? Because the blessing in this is really coming into a maturity in how you define love and how you see love, a maturity in how you see your own self, in how you see, sense, know the value of who you are, which is extraordinary, right? And your key today is to come into awareness of, okay, in my relationships and how I'm showing up on social media, or how I'm with my lover, how I'm with my best friend, how I'm with others, am I sacrificing a part of myself, or am I being the fullest expression of me? Am I being my full light? Am I being all of me, even if I think that people might think I'm crazy because I'm telling you I'm an alchemist, or that I am hiding just a little bit of me because I have chunky thighs, or, whatever those things are. Are you willing to notice these things today? Because part of these things, part of the things that you are sacrificing within your own self, that you are resisting within your own self, are coming up to rise so that you can decide, right? Which I love in this energy. And so then we move into October 25th. And so October 25th, we have the 5-10 of hearts. And it's this, okay, you've witnessed and observed how you were relating with others. You were actually witnessing how you saw yourself, right? As I was contemplating about this energy, I was thinking about a past relationship that I had, and I was just thinking about him. And I had come to this realization, and I don't know if you've ever had this experience where you just see them. Like, you just see them. It's like this veil has lifted and you see them for who they truly are, without the rose-colored glasses, without the romanticizing who you think they are, without any of those things. And in that seeing of who they are, you see yourself. And so now you see all of the places where you did have rose-colored glasses, where you championed them when really and truly that was romanticizing, where you were deceiving yourself, and perhaps even self-betraying yourself. And this is not to create pain within self, or to create any shame or judgment on the person that was in your life, your lover. But this was just this muse that came in so that you could see yourself more fully, wholly, without the distortions, without the lies, without the deceit. And in this coming of, oh, I see you, all of the energy between you just kind of fell away. No longer attracted, maybe not even wanting to be friends anymore, not necessarily feeling like you needed to connect. That in this place, there was such great love that you just allowed them to go down their own path as you continued to move forward, right? Hi, Joanne, how are you? And so it's, have you ever had that experience? Because these are the experiences that are coming up. This willingness to see that, okay, I cannot see myself. And so all of these people that are coming out to play my muse, all of these people in my life are opportunities to see myself, to see my patterns, to see where I am making decisions in lack, to see where I may not accept the wholeness of me. And they are showing me my light, and they are showing me the places where I have not yet seen within me. And so today, or on Tuesday with the 5, it's like, here's the truth. Here's all of it. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to decide? And so in this energy with the 10 of hearts, it's this fulfillment energy, right? In this awareness of who I am, in this deeper awareness of the wholeness, of the extraordinary, of this essence, of this love that flows, of this value that I am, because I decide that I'm going to live here and I'm going to have the experiences that I want. I can now feel, and I can now be willing to accept the fruition of what it is that I truly desire. It's this energy of I can feel all of the love that I've ever experienced in my life here now, and all of the love that I'm ever going to experience in my life here now. All of it. All of it is available to me. And am I willing to receive it? And so when others come to you and they start to, and not because we're looking for the likes or the validation or all of those things, when they start to simply respond to this energy, because this theme that's shifting, this upgrade that's shifting is as within, so without, as above, so below, which really speaks to everything that is within my heart. Everything that is within my being is what I am experiencing outside in my life. And so if I'm experiencing great love in my heart, then am I allowing the fulfillment to be received back from others, through my experiences with my home, with my dog, with my children, all of the things? Am I fully in receipt of that? Am I willing to accept? Am I willing to accept and land into, I am actually more. I have this love. I have this life that I am wanting to experience, and I'm willing to be inspired to move in that direction. And so Tuesday is this beautiful energy of, okay, in this energy of feeling this fulfillment and love, my thinking is, okay, am I also connecting the value of who I am? Because love and value, right? We want to keep them connected. I love and value myself. And so I speak and I act on behalf of that. And so in this fulfillment of not just love, we're in this, okay, how do I get the money to come in? How do I get someone to, sign up as a client? How do I receive the fulfillment from the material world? And so it's just coming into the observer of, I'm going to observe my life and I'm going to notice. I'm going to let the world, and I'm going to notice my life and my experiences, and I'm going to see the material things that are happening in my life. And I'm going to see and I'm going to notice my experience, and I'm going to defer out, right? Like, oh, I love this so much. And oh, I don't enjoy what's in my closet right now, and so I'm gonna allow the space to be created by letting go of some clothes. I'm gonna send them over to the thrift store, and I'm going to create the space so that I can find or discover the things that actually match me. If I'm this divine being, does that move out into my world? When I look into my space, does it match? Right? And so there's this beautiful opportunity here to come into a deeper sense of devotion to self, a deeper sense of devotion to, I'm here now, then I'm going to live the life that I want. I'm going to move in the directions of not my fears by making decisions with lack, but the willingness to break through so that I can have what I want, because I'm here now. Why wouldn't I want to have the life that I want now? Right? And I'm willing to let go of the conditions and the patterns. I'm willing to just let them go by being here now. And then allowing things to rise up as they rise up, allowing whatever I'm going to, air quote, a problem to rise up. And the problem is going to rise up so that I can see it, but not to fix it, because there's nothing to fix. And so the key here today is the willingness to see your life as it is now and take it higher. I see how my life is now. And when I say take it higher, I'm not saying, upgrade your car or upgrade your house. We're upgrading our own perception of how we see our life. Can you imagine if you saw your life through, oh, there is no problem here, there's nothing to fix? If there was no problem in my life and there was nothing to fix because there's no lack, then how would my thinking change? How would my emotions shift? And if my emotions shift, then how does my body shift? Because now my body's not moving into fight or flight, right? My body is here in rest, repose, it's in peace. And so we move into Wednesday. And so Wednesday, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of action. Like Wednesday would be a day of action. Like I'm going to do the things, right? So I decided on Tuesday. But in the decision on Tuesday, it doesn't mean you're going to act on it on Wednesday, right? If you decide that your closet is full of clothes that don't match you anymore and you want to send it to the thrift store, if it's not inspired, it doesn't mean that on Wednesday you're going and you're taking off all the clothes off the hangers. You are allowing yourself to be inspired by it. And so when I say that it's not a day of taking action, it's a day of noticing, right? This day feels very karmic because it's revealing the truth of how and what you love so that you can receive the fulfillment of that. And so in this karmic energy of the 6 and the 9 of hearts, your desires to bring things into balance, your desires to bring things into harmony, your desires to, amplify this love, the beauty in your life. And at the same time, it's just to notice, like, it feels like there's this sifting and sorting energy of you've got this sieve, right? And the sieve is full of sand and maybe seashells and maybe a pearl here or two. And so you're sieving it. And all of these things are being shaken from your life because you're just noticing your life. And as things are being shaken out of your life, you're deciding, oh, wow, look at that pearl. I'm going to keep that pearl. And you notice another one, this one's a rare one. You're like, oh, I love this pearl, and I'm gonna give this to my child. And you're letting everything else fall away while you decide. I want this, I don't want that. I like this, I don't want that. I love how someone engages with me on social media. I want more of that. Oh, I don't enjoy the way that this person is engaging with me on social media. I'm done with that. And oh, I love how it is when I'm connected to this person. I love how I feel. I love how we mirror each other. I love how we partner together. All of that. I want more of that. And oh, this person, no, I feel like I feel almost like I need to kind of save them, or they feel like they have to save me. I don't want any of that. And so it's just noticing. I'm sifting and sorting my life, and I'm keeping all of the things that match who I am. And if that's inspired, I'm going to do the things. I'm going to get rid of the stuff. But if not, that's okay. It's allowing yourself to be inspired by you while you just witness. Because you want to remember that you're moving through this huge shift this week of you're reuniting yourself with all of those parts unseen, right? And as you start to discover all of the parts that perhaps you kept hidden away, or all of the parts that you thought were shameful or painful, or created hurt or even fear, that as those things rise up, it's to come into full acceptance. This is my life. This is the life that I created. And in this life I created, I'm actually choosing to live more life. And in this choosing to live more life, some things have to fall away. And so part of those things that are falling away are how I see myself, how I perceive myself, some of my beliefs, some of the patterns that keep me small, so that I can reveal the truth of who I am. And so I truly love this energy that's happening this month. As you all know, if you've been watching me for a while, like, I love diving in deep into self. Because when you can dive in so deep within yourself, you can just shift every single aspect of your life in just a moment, right? And it's just the willingness to do that. And so I am curious. I'm curious about if you're feeling the energy, how you're experiencing the energy. The eclipse is tomorrow, and I love eclipse season. Have you noticed your sleep? Perhaps you can be feeling the shift in sleep, or your dreams might be more lively. You may be noticing that people are coming back into your life that you weren't connected to. You might be, not sleeping well, right? And so in this, it's just being aware. I'm just aware that I'm not sleeping well, and that's okay. That there's this energetic shift. I mean, to imagine that the moon can shift the tides, and the awareness that our body is 80% water. Well, what is that shifting within us? And so to just allow ourselves to be present and to imagine that all of life around me is shifting and changing. Yeah, for sure. Oh, I can feel that. Yeah, I love that. And so that you can feel that there's a bit of a clearing energy that's happening for you and your family, which I love, right? Because even in that, Nicole, like to imagine that as we do this work, that we are shifting the frequency in our own body. And as we are shifting the energy within our own body, it's moving out into our field. And as it moves out into our field, it becomes an invitation for those around us to either come into that same frequency to match, or to be diverted. And so it's creating that energetic shift within your own household, which is brilliant, right? Like all you have to do is just stay present and the shifts will happen. Yeah, Joanne, my creative mojo has returned. Yay. That's exciting. I can see that I can imagine you like shifting things around your house again to match you, right? Yeah. My 12-year-old daughter says my body is upgrading at a very inconvenient time. Oh, that's so sweet. I love that. And I can imagine. Can you imagine being 12 years old and having all of your hormones just in flux during this time where you're shifting as well, just to like bring her into deeper love for herself, like, and her body's changing and just acclimating. Would you go back that way? Would you go back to your 12-year-old, 13-year-old self going through the, what is it? Oh my God, having your period again and having your body change and puberty. Thank you. She says that tongue in cheek because of what I've told her about Cygnus. Aw. I've had to allow more sleep than usual for many shifts. Yeah. Yeah. I'm having a hard time discerning for myself. I think I just have a habit of snooze, which does not help in the waking up process. And so one of the things I do to shift myself in that is I decide before I go to bed, okay, I'm getting up at 6. It's going to be easy. I'm getting up at 6. And I find that when I do that at night, like it's so much easier to get up at 6 than if I don't do that, I'm pressing snooze till 7:30. All right. So I'm curious. Questions. What questions do you have about this week, or about what you are experiencing, what you're shifting through? And let's see what the cards are saying to support your shift. I am curious. And I know that there's a delay, and that's okay. Really, I should, switch that over so that I can see that, I'm just going to put myself live because I'm live now. That, I'm just going to put myself. There I am, and I'm muted. Yay. You've never been a snoozer ever. No, but naps, yes. I went through that. My next would be a nap. What's your next, Arlene? What's my next? Go sleep for 30 minutes. Okay. But I love those day naps because I feel like those day naps really allow for a huge shift within your own body. It allows for the alchemy to take place. And yeah, it's a beautiful next, really. So, questions? Do you have any questions? And if not, that's a-okay. No questions are good too. I'm open to whatever wisdom wants to come through this week for landing into more expansion of the new. That feels good. I'm seeing a card, and so I'm curious if the card's going to come through. Let's see. Fascinating. 5 of Hearts. So this week you're really going to experience how how love is being mirrored back to you and your willingness to take love higher. Now, we know that you've been on a journey to take love higher for yourself, but there's still a part of you that's taking things personally. But it's coming back to this place of, okay, I'm going to continue to move forward to see the truth of me, to notice how I'm responding to others, whether it's in my community, in my household, in the relationships with my children, with my friendships, all of those places. And I'm going to see me. I'm going to land into me. I'm done playing small. It's almost like this, you're going to notice those little places where you might dim your light just a little bit. And the 5 of Hearts is like, stop it. Stop dimming your light. That to break through that is to really see the wholeness of you with that. Can you feel that? It's moving through your body. And so just noticing in your experience this week where you might be, it's almost like you have this question. I can see you. You're like, I have this question. And you really want to ask the question, but then someone asks a question that's almost very similar to that. And so you're like, I guess I got my answer. But it's this, no, ask your question. And to really see that you are a contribution, to see that you are a contribution to the community, a contribution to your household, a contribution to the world. And so it's this willingness to just notice those little places where you're so excited to ask your question, and then you're like, no, I won't. And it's like, take up space. Take up all the space, because you're more than who you think you are. And so allow yourself to play in that, to embrace that, to be the fullness of you. I'm going to be the fucking fullness of me. And to not be in this place of, oh man, like, I won't ask today because right, like, I won't ask today because I have more access, we're friends, and so I can ask at any other time, or I've got people that I can talk to, or I've got all of these other things. But you are a contribution, and your question is a contribution, and the question is being inspired through you. The question's inspired through you because you are part of the convergence. So stop diverting from the convergence. Oh shit. That's so good, Shelly. I love that. So good. All right. Nicole, I'd love to know what I'm doing. I'd love to know if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be, or if I'm being lazy. I feel like I'm not doing much. Is there actions I could be taking? Fascinating. Just tuning in, I feel like you're going through a frequency upgrade. And so in this frequency upgrade, meaning in this like acclimating to the value and the love that you have for yourself, that the world around you is kind of changing. And so like look at what you were saying earlier on, like your entire family is going through a cold and through sore throats and all of these things. And so your entire life is shifting because of this frequency that you are really being invited to stay in. I'm going to stay in the love and value that flows through me. I'm going to stay in my frequency, the value of this essence that's flowing through. And I'm going to let the world and the family. I'm going to let the money. I'm going to let life while I feel into the life that I truly want to experience. And so it's noticing. So with the Three of Diamonds are like, I feel like in this frequency, in you, in this being present, all of these other pathways, they're not here yet. They feel like they're not very far away though. But I feel like during this week, you'll have more pathways that are available to you that will show you what it is or how it is that you're going to be experiencing wealth, how you want to play in your community, what you want to do. But in this, it feels like there's a decision for you to make that you haven't yet decided. Like, have you decided what it is that you want to experience? I know I can feel that you're feeling the frequency of love and value. But what is it actually inspiring you to do? And have you decided to do it yet? Right? Because it also feels like this idea of being lazy, that's shifting out of your own patterning. There is no lazy. Being present is not lazy. Being present is really allowing the 99.99999% of what you cannot see to move, to form for you. And so I feel like you know that there's a decision that you haven't yet made, or that you've been a little bit wonky with it. Oh, I want it today, but I don't want it now. And oh, I want it today, but I don't want it now. And so there's this like to come into the devotion, right? To come into cue with what it is that you really want to experience, so that you can follow those inspired nudges, which will start to show you the pathways that are available. Does that make sense for you? Yeah, devotion. You really want to bring devotion into your mental focus. And so as you're observing your family, rather than, it's like give to self first, then to others. And so not necessarily running to your daughter's needs because, she's whatever's happening for your daughter and she's shifting through something. It's coming to, okay, I'm not going to go and sacrifice, Jack of Hearts. I'm not going to sacrifice myself because I'm not yet full. So I'm going to come into my own presence. I'm going to feel into me. I'm going to feel into Q. What is it that I want to experience? I'm going to feel that frequency, then go support. Right. And so I'm loving that energy for you. And sorry, I'm just watching my daughter. Good morning.
Morning.
At 11:38. Okay, any other questions? I think there is another. I am working on receiving. It works. Yay. What can guide me to continue to do it more? I feel like when I look into your back, it feels like it feels very jagged, and it feels like there are little hurts. Like that's all I keep on hearing. Like, oh, there's a hurt point here. 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 And so, it's an interesting question that's rising up. Does it hurt to receive? And just feel into that. Does it hurt to receive? And as I receive, like what does it really mean for me to receive? What does receiving mean? Because there's some patterns that are wanting to shift in that. You're welcome, Nicole. There's some patterns that are wanting to shift where you're holding yourself back from receiving. Yeah. And so it's, it's redefining. Can you redefine what receiving actually means? And so we can't try to appreciate something because that's surface, but we can certainly feel the energy of appreciation. Can you feel that? Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Because the Ace of Diamonds is coming up. And so the Ace of Diamonds is me. And it's more than me. Ace of Diamonds. The Ace of Diamonds is, there's some stories that are coming up. And so it's interesting because it shows up a little bit wonky. There's a couple of distortions that are rising up in this idea that, in order to have love, I had to give up parts of myself. And so I love that the Ace of Diamonds showed up because this is the energy. This is what's transforming within all of us, where we're sacrificing aspects of ourselves, where we hid parts of ourselves. And so the Ace of Diamonds is saying, okay, well, let's bring it back to self. Were there parts of myself that I sacrificed in order to love me? Were there parts of myself that I tucked away because it was just too painful? And am I willing to just allow myself to see them? Because it's very possible that I can see them through a different lens. It's possible that I've shifted in my perception, that what was scary when I was 3 is not scary now that I'm an adult. And so there were some, places where you might have, and I'm just using this as an example. In my childhood, when I was being sexually abused, I got angry. I was angry and I was scared, but it was safe for me not to express the anger. It was just safe for my surroundings. It was safe for my physical body not to express the anger, because in order for me to express, if I expressed the anger, then something bigger could happen. And so it's like, but that anger was stuck. The anger stayed there. I didn't express it out until later on in the journey, right? And so the anger expressed itself out later through anxiety at 18, through, suicide at 24, through all of these things. And it's this, can I accept fully and wholly what happened in my life and just allow that anger to rise and to move? Can I accept that I was angry? Can I accept that it was right for me to be angry? Can I accept that I made that choice? Because that choice at 7, at 8, whatever, was the right choice then. But now as a mature adult, it's not the right choice. And so it's shifting in those patterns, because that was a pattern of just eat your anger, don't say a word, right? And something that was experienced up until 30s, 40s, right? Swallow your anger, don't express yourself. And so until doing the deep work, it was coming into the wholeness, all of those parts being unseen, to come to be seen, to be witnessed, to be observed, to be loved. And so I hope that resonates for you. And again, so that you can come into devotion of your own thoughts, of your own, where am I focusing my thoughts? Where am I willing to focus them back to me, just in, I love all of me. Yeah. Swallow your anger. Yeah. Which is the example, right? Yeah. And so it's coming into deeper devotion of, okay, I know that I've been on this journey to love me, but do I love all of me? Am I willing to love all of me? Parts unseen. And come into deeper devotion of that. And not just in thinking, but in feeling, so that you can allow that to move through. And so I love that for you, Joanne. Like, it's the next, right? Which is extraordinary. Awesome. Well, I think that is everyone, and a decision to make that makes sense. I've been definitely feeling the lack of deciding. Yeah, for sure. And knowing that spending time in feeling, yes, for sure. Definitely. So, it's the willing, that's the devotion, right? Because we're so used to doing, and thinking that we're meant to take action, but that action is meant to be an inner action. Can I stay in the frequent? Can I be aware of my essence flowing through my body the entire day? I've been trying for a very long time. Because we forget, because we live our life. And so it's just that willing, but I will be devoted. I will be devoted to doing that, and to noticing, and to witnessing myself in my life. And yeah, Joanne, I love that. Right on. Yay. Awesome. And so let's just pull one for the group, for the collective, those that will watch the replay. What energy is supporting you this week as you move through this beautiful unveiling of your whole self? The Seven of Hearts. A deep sense of trust. I'm feeling the emotion of that, like to come into this place of, you never left you. Like, you were always right here. And your guides, your higher self, God, the universe, like whatever you want to name it, like, you were never left alone. And can you trust that? And in this shifting, in this own perception of that, you will see all of the places where you were always supported and you may not have seen it, where you were always loved, but you did not accept it, where you were always truly valued, where you were always whole. We just forgot. And so I'm loving this Seven of Hearts, this willing to just leap into, I decide to know myself wholly as this divine being, that I live here now. I decide to live here now. I am here. It's very special that I am here. I decided to be here in this body, in this life, on this earth, at this time. And I have the power to change within myself, which changes my life, which activates others. The power's in the people. I love that. Awesome. Well, thank you all for joining me, for catching me on the replay. This was extraordinary. I loved it. Yeah, if you are curious about how we can work more deeply together, about your numbers, about your own life path, then I'm going to invite you to connect more deeply with me through a clarity call. And yeah, wishing you all a happy Monday, and I will see you in the spaces. So much love. Bye for now. You're welcome.